Sorry. Hi, I'm V. Cooper, the designated Adult Safeguarding Manager from the CCG. I work as part of the multi-agency group that works within the subgroups that align to the board. And I've had a particular interest in self-neglect and hoarding right the way throughout my whole of my nursing career. I believe that somebody who is even maybe not allowing us to do their leg ulcer potentially could end up being somebody self-neglecting or hoarding. So I've been given the fortuitous position of actually pulling together a task and finish group and developing the guidance that will sit alongside the policy and procedures guidance. I am very mindful that we are running a bit late, so I'm not going to go through it in all great detail. It is being launched today. It will be added onto the Bournemouth and Poole and Dorset websites. It does tell you that actually, while safeguarding is everybody's business, we've heard this morning that self-neglect and hoarding can sometimes be nobody's business. Therefore, we need to make sure it is everybody's business. I'm going to take you to a slide. In the guidance, there is a toolkit, okay? It references you to a risk assessment tool, a clutter tool, and a defensible decision-making tool. You need to familiarise yourselves with that. This is a new piece of work for Dorset. We will be working with you over the next 6 to 12 months. We plan to review this in about 6 months' time. It is a working document, so we need your input to help us to tell us whether or not it's working for you. That's diagrams of the toolkits that are in the information. But this is what you can expect from your safeguarding teams. The majority of you are out there seeing people that may be on the early stages of self-neglect or hoarding. That is the time that we need to start working together. That's the time that we need to start thinking about engaging with that individual. That is the time that we need to start working out who is around that person. Think about a tap, a team around the person. Who knows about this person? What information can we share? There is a tool in the kit about information sharing. You can share information if there is a risk and if it's under the safeguarding umbrella. But a lot of the people that we're seeing won't even need to go into safeguarding. As an organisation, you need to work with that individual, you need to identify what the risks are, you need to be thinking about how you can mitigate those risks. At the same time, you need to be thinking about what is your escalation. What is it the teams aren't able to do to make that person as safe as possible? We've heard from Paul this morning the mental capacity. This runs right the way through all of this work. I'm not going to reiterate that because I haven't really got time to do it. But you had a really good discussion from Paul. You had some really good discussions from Susie Bray. You've heard from housing. You've heard from fire. We've heard about the GPs. We've heard about the community nursing staff. We've heard about allied health professionals. We've heard about adult social working. We cannot do this in isolation. We need to be thinking. So if those risks are starting to escalate, that is the time you need to have that conversation with adult safeguarding. They may well put it back to you, but what you're doing is saying, are we doing everything we can? Is there anything additional we need to think about? Is there any legal framework we need to be working within? Adult safeguarding may well get involved if the situation is becoming very complex. If we are needing to look at legal action, if we're needing to look at court protection, if there is some contestancy between the agencies, or actually if we do feel that the individual's risk is so high and we're not moving it forward, that is when adult safeguarding will get involved. But please use us, talk to us. It may be that it does go back to you but you have 3 safeguarding teams across Dorset, Bournemouth and Thorpe. You have professional judgment, you have professional curiosity. You need to be working with that judgment and working with safeguarding if you feel the risk is high. The other thing you need to be doing is thinking about defensible decision making. Whatever we do, we have to make sure it's defensible. We have to make sure that all appropriate actions have been taken place. You need to make sure that you've got good assessments in place, that you're understanding the legislation that's underpinning your assessments. The Mental Capacity Act, the Mental Health Act, the Serious Crime Act, the Environmental Health Act, the Public Health Acts. If you're not sure of those, that's where you go to the agency who is running those, who knows about that act, to ask for more information. The multi-agency risk management meeting allows you to pull everyone together. Sometimes it will be a meeting in the community, sometimes it may be through a panel. But again, your local safeguarding team will be able to direct you for that. And those are for those elements where the risk is starting to escalate. There is an information sharing kit within the toolkit which actually shows you the legal right to share information. Somebody talked earlier about the vicar. Some people say, well, why would we want to share information with the vicar? You're sensitive to what information you do share, but that vicar may also have a huge amount of information to share for you. We think about people like vets. I know, for example, we've got a case where there's a vet is involved. The vet is very familiar with that individual. We're not sharing all the detail of that case, but we're actually saying to the vet, if you are concerned, let us know. So that actually we've got that insight and we've got people working with us together. So the key messages I want you to take away today are being familiar with the self-neglect and the hoarding toolkit. Be familiar with the Pan Dorset guidance that we have written. Your organisations may need to write other guidance to underpin that, because the guidance we've written is strategic. It covers the whole of Dorset. But you need to be familiar with it and thinking about it. You also need to be thinking about communicating with the individual and engaging with them. We've heard this morning that engaging takes time. It does. It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of energy. And a lot of people say they haven't really got the time. But actually, why does it have to be you? Why can't it be voluntary organisations? Why can't it be charitable organisations? People who have got more time, as long as we all know what everybody is doing to support that individual. That's what we need to get into the mindset of thinking about. We need to consider the principles of the Mental Capacity Act. Across Dorset, Bournemouth and Poole, we have 3 Mental Capacity Act teams, supervisions, advice. Use it. That's what they're there for. They can signpost you in these really complex situations. We also need to consider the Mental Health Act. In each local authority, we have AMPs. Use their skill set, use their knowledge base, ask them, look at community mental health teams, have discussions with them. They may not necessarily need to be pulled into the case, but actually their information, their guidance can help steer us in the right direction. We need to think about proportionate risk management and mitigation. In order to do that, the individual, if they have capacity, needs to know the risk they're putting themselves at. And that really needs to be questioned with them and worked through with them. We need to look at the services that are available. There are absolutely lots and lots and lots of services out there, and we all have a vital part to play. So thinking about those services, how can we engage with them? How can we understand what each other's role is to help that vulnerable person in the middle? Decision making and documentation, which we've just talked about, That is absolutely pivotal, and we need to get into thinking about how we can support you to do that. And through the training and workforce group, we will be thinking about how do we develop some training to support staff to take this responsibility on. And finally, exploring the legislation to assist your processes. Please don't forget the people that are working in that service. So, for example, the police, they know what their powers are. The fire, they know what their powers are. Local authority, they know what their powers are. Mental capacity, we know what the powers are. But use it, work together to try and develop it. I'm going to ask Sandra Wood from Dorset Healthcare and Peter Hancock from Dorset County Council to come forward and just talk to you about a case that's been really positive. I do appreciate that has been a real whistle stop. Please look out for the guidance on the website. If you want further information, come back to us, talk to us, and we'll support you with that.